My next patron question is from Lance, who wanted to know whether a couple of movie references are Mandela effects. What is probably the most likely explanation for the I see white people in Scary Movie and bucket list Mandela effects? I'm not sure if you're familiar with these topics, but I see several channels that try to explain or deny them, but no one debunked these. I know for a fact I saw I see white people on a poster and heard the phrase before it existed, but can't find proof. What are your thoughts on these? So this question led me down a bit of a wild goose chase. I'm absolutely positive I heard Marlon Wayans say I see white people in the trailer for Scary Movie. I looked up the trailer, wasn't there. So I went to another trailer where he says a slightly different line.
I see dead people.
I thought maybe it was in the Scary Movie 2, or even the Scary Movie 3 trailer, despite Wayans not being in the latter. Still nothing. And yet, for some reason, I distinctly remember him saying the other line. It's such a bizarre thing for my mind to make up. Why am I questioning my own memory over a silly Wayans Brothers comedy? One possibility is that someone else said the I see white people line in a different piece of media. After all, The Sixth Sense was a hugely successful film that was widely parodied at the time, so it's inevitable that someone would have come up with that joke, even if it wasn't the Wayans. It's just odd that myself, and apparently so many other people, remember it occurring in Scary Movie, and even recognize the exact scene. Regarding whether the term bucket list originated in the 2007 film directed by Rob Reiner, it's certainly possible. I don't know if the term was in the public lexicon before then, but I did find an article on Slate that discusses whether it preceded the movie. The biggest find the article writer found was a book published in 2004 that uses the words bucket list in that context. It's also possible that people had used it to refer to a list of things to do before kicking the bucket and shorten it to bucket list for simplicity's sake. That's actually how screenwriter Justin Zackham coined the phrase, according to interviews he gave, like this one in How to Living magazine. He said he started bartending and wrote a list called Justin's Things to Do Before You Kick the Bucket. I later shortened it to Justin's Bucket List. I doubt he was the first person to come up with such a concept with this exact name, but he might have been the first to adapt it into a screenplay that then wound up a major motion picture. The success of the film then likely popularized it and helped put it further into public conversation. The idea of a movie popularizing or inventing a term that then gets widely used has actually happened more than you might realize. Media can even alter a word's meaning as people assume it means something else. For example, the word Nimrod is used nowadays as an insult towards someone considered not very bright. However, the reason it's used in that context is because of a Daffy Duck cartoon. In a 1948 short, Daffy refers to Elmer Fudd as a Nimrod. This was actually a reference to a biblical hunter with that name, which makes sense as Elmer is a hunter. However, many people interpreted that as an insult towards Elmer, and somehow that's become the definition since then. Another notable example is the term gaslighting, which is a form of abuse where someone manipulates another person into questioning their reality. This term actually originates from a play first performed in 1938, which was then adapted into a movie in 1940. The most well-known version of Gaslight is the 1944 film adaptation of Ingrid Bergman. It's actually this movie that popularized gaslighting and made it part of the public lexicon. However, most people probably are not even aware of this film. Unfortunately, the term is frequently used incorrectly online, so I do recommend watching Gaslight, as it provides a very clear explanation of what gaslighting is. The idea of taking things up to 11 also became popular after the comedy This Is Spinal Tap made a joke about it, while saying "Bye Felicia" to someone you have no interest in interacting with came from the movie Friday. So that does explain how bucket list would come to be used by many people, as well as the likelihood other people would have come up with the same idea before the screenwriter put pen to paper. The Scary Movie joke is a complete mystery to me, though. I see white people even makes more sense as a joke within the context of the film. So I want to know if any of you in the comments have that similar memory. Thank you for your question, Lance.